All right, let's get this party started. Hi, everybody. I am Nicole D. Miller, author of Stories for the Urban Soul. Stories for the Urban Soul is a compilation of short stories, novellas, and poetry depicting Black characters dealing with everyday life issues, from social injustices to heartbreak to college life, all the things. And it's relatable, down to earth, however, has a spiritual undertone, faith-based, and encouraging. So if you'd like to learn more, please go to my website, NicoleDMiller.com. As you guys know, every Wednesday I piggyback off of my weekly blog on IG Live and sometimes Facebook Live. And this week's blog post was The Comparison Trap. Now, how many of y'all resonated with this blog post? Okay, if you didn't get a chance to read it, go to my website and check it out. But I really appreciated this post, even though I myself wrote it. But what I appreciated about it was just we've all been there, right? We've all struggled with comparing ourselves, comparing our journeys. And the thing about it is we normally compare it with the friends. We normally compare it with somebody we know. Maybe once in a while we're looking at Joe Schmo on the street or like some Hollywood star, or now TikTok star, and we're just like, oh man, I don't do this as well as they do, or I don't look like that, blah, blah, blah. But usually it's someone in our circle, it's people we're doing life with. And you know, sometimes we feel like we're coming up short. It happens, right? So in this blog post, I just get real, I just get transparent, and I just share about my own struggles of feeling that way, feeling like, man, I'm just getting the short end of the stick here, you know, like, what's happening, guy? Like, did you forget me? And it was funny, a friend of mine and I were talking about it. She's like, yeah, did he just forget to hand out, you know, blessings in this area, you know, whatever. And sometimes you can just feel that way. What's really interesting, I was talking to a different friend today about it, is like I can look back on my journey and I look back at these hard seasons and I think of them as like humbling seasons, right? It's like, man, right out of college was a super humbling season for me. I couldn't get a job. I had put on all this weight because I was dealing with an eating disorder, and I was heartbroken, and my ex had moved on, and me and my mom were beefing. It was just a lot going on. Yet I look back at that time period. First of all, it ends, right? Like those humbling seasons or hard seasons, they do end. So that's an encouragement. But I look back at that time frame and I'm like, you know, I grew a lot in character. And so when you are walking with God, you're living right, you're doing what you know to do right, you know, you can rest assured that those difficult seasons, those humbling seasons are breeding ground for character. And now that I'm not necessarily in that type of season and I've gotten to see my life move forward in a lot of those areas I was waiting on back then, I can appreciate the maturity and the humble mindset that was created during those times. So in the blog post, you know, I just share like one of the words God gave me when I was struggling was like, yeah, you want what that person has or what these people have, but do you want to walk through their trials? And I had to be real, like, no, I don't want their trials. Like, I don't even want my trials. What I look like wanting their trials, right? And so what I was processing, even in my writing, is a lot of times when we look at other people's lives, we're making a judgment call. You know, we're making a judgment call that, oh, you know, I could have done things better than them, or they have it easier than me. And it's because we're comparing one area of our life with theirs. Even if we're looking at the wholeness of it, and this can seem unfair, you know, but everyone has a different calling. Everyone is wired differently. Some people don't need to go through maybe dire poverty or hardships to get the lessons. Maybe they are just naturally humble, you know, and just are good-spirited in that way. But rest assured, they going through something. Like, it's something they're called to. None of us gets out of this life easy peasy. So my point is, when we try to compare our lives with other people, we fall into that place of playing God. We fall into that place of judgment. But our judgment is always flawed because it's based on our limited understanding of each other. Like, we don't know what's in that person's heart. We also don't know what they're called to go through. So that post was definitely really good for me to kind of get out there and just be in tune with what I felt like was true And especially being on the other side of things, I share that too. Like having a friend rave about a blessing that I've been given, and then just breaking it down like, girl, I had to go through X, Y, and Z to get that blessing. You know, sometimes we just see the highlights. Again, I talk about this a lot on social media. We only see the highlights. You never see what people walk through. And we tend to compare those highlights with our lowlights. And I think that's kind of the unfairness about social media, is you're only seeing people's highlights and you only know your lowlights. So anyways, check out the blog post. I think it's a good read. Comment, subscribe, share, all those good things. If you guys want to learn more about me, go to my website, NicoleDMiller.com. You can follow me on Instagram at Nicole.dmiller. Facebook, Facebook.com/HTOHB. Sometimes I'm on Twitter at Nicole D. Miller. I have a lot going on, you guys. I just dropped an ebook. It's called Self-Publishing 101, Everything You Need to Know from One Author to Another. That's from me to you. So if you or someone you know is interested in self-publishing, it gives really good tips. It's a short read, but very good tips on what you need in your self-publishing journey to become an indie author. Things that I had to learn going through trial and error that you won't have to if you read the book. And of course, you guys know I'm working on my novel, but definitely have some big things in store. So stay tuned. Subscribe to my newsletter. You can do that on my blog, Better Than Wine.net, or you can go to the website, NicoleDMiller.com, and email me, NicoleDMiller1983@gmail.com. Thank you for tuning in to Word of the Day Wednesdays. Bye, you guys.